there's something strange going on with Black Widow's marketing. Let me show you what Marvel has come out with in the past 48 hours. So aside from some of the more cringy reviews where critics state that Black Widow is going to make men squirm, I'm sure that's just getting all of the guys excited to go see Black Widow. Other than that, like, it's this desperate attempt to kind of steer the movie away from the fact that she's kind of like, there's a lot of sex appeal to Black Widow. I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. When did this idea of like attractive women become so bad? I don't quite get it. It's very, very strange, but that's kind of where we're at now. It's like an assault on beauty in the media. Of course, are they going to stop objectifying men? No, if anything, it seems like they're trying to flip it. Like, men seem to be getting objectified more, and they've kind of been moving women away, trying to destroy beauty. You see it in a lot of stuff, like the way that they've been doing this. But I want to show you, the media has been pumping out stuff like this. This is from Time. Black Widow began as a stereotype. More than a decade later, Scarlett Johansson is reclaiming her story. Now, I want to be absolutely clear on something. Where do you think all of these outlets get their talking points? It comes from Disney and Marvel. They ask them to focus on certain things. And I would be willing to bet money that some studio heads at Marvel probably went to all these outlets and were like, listen, we're trying to press a more female empowered theme here. We don't really want you to go back and think about how she looked in Iron Man 2. We want you to look at how she looks now as an empowered woman. Even though she's a spy, and in Iron Man 2, she was using the fact that Tony is is a hornball to her advantage to infiltrate. It worked for the movie. It's so stupid. Then, to promote it, well, let's drag down Iron Man 2. Let's drag down Iron Man 2, shit on that movie. Maybe that'll make people want to go see Black Widow. Now they're finally seeing the empowered Black Widow. It's really funny to me, like, Scarlett Johansson, probably on the other side of 35. She still looks really good. I'm not saying she doesn't. But, I mean, how old was she in Iron Man 2? Like, she's pretty attractive in that movie. But, I mean, it's almost like she's being penalized for being attractive. Like, they're like, we're going to go ahead and shit on that, and maybe that'll make Black Widow more desirable for people to see. It's very, very strange. And Marvel producers, Scarlett Johansson herself, people are going back and trashing Iron Man 2, which, by the way, I think, to be honest, is somewhat underrated of a movie. And I went back and watched it recently. I think Iron Man 2 is a fine movie, but it gets a lot of hate. Like, it's no Thor Dark World. Like, ease up a little bit on the Iron Man 2 hate, people. It's not a bad movie. I think there's a lot of good stuff in that movie. I wish they went further with some of the stuff in that movie, particularly the stuff with his addiction to alcohol and so on and so on. They kind of glazed over that, but you could have had a good movie there somewhere if you had really went all in on that. But, this is from the Marvel Direct saying she was eye candy for Tony. Well, no shit. Tony was a womanizer who went around hooking up with every woman possibly that he could possibly get. And because she's a spy, she latched onto that so that she could infiltrate and get into his group, get close to him and stuff. I don't understand what the problem with that is, but, we gotta find ways. We gotta put woke talking points. And here's the sad thing about all of this. Black Widow could be a good movie, but this kind of marketing, in my opinion, hurts it. It reminds me a lot of Birds of Prey, because if you remember Birds of Prey, finally, a Harley Quinn that dismantles the male gaze. Like, for real, these were real talking points that they were showing. Let's try to get people excited to go see Birds of Prey. It didn't quite work out. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit different Marvel because people just automatically want to see a Marvel movie. People have been starved for, 2 years almost for Marvel Comics content in the theater. So I think this movie is going to do okay, but I don't think it's going to do what it could have. It's tough to say because of, the coof and stuff, but Fast and the Furious 9 is doing fantastic. So I think the standard is now we look at how, because Fast 9 is the most successful movie in theaters right now. And actually since the coup started. It's probably going to beat out Godzilla vs. Kong. Though I would like to point out there are more restrictions in place for Godzilla vs. Kong compared to F9. Because most theaters now don't have a limit. Most of the restrictions have been lifted. So I think comparing those two is a little bit different. Comparing Black Widow and Fast 9, that's going to be interesting to do. But check this out. We got more right here. Black Widow producer says Marvel Studios is making effort to not objectify women in the MCU. But they're going to objectify men. No problem. I guarantee you, we could do a drinking game to how often I bet Chris Hemsworth is going to have his shirt off in that new Thor movie that's coming out. But we'll cover up Natalie Portman and put bed sheets all over her. I'm sure. They're going to do their best to cover her up. It's such bullshit. And then you've got people like Steven Dorff coming out. This is, if you don't know who he is, he was in The First Blade, a movie that everybody forgot about when Black Panther came out. And they were saying Black Panther was the first black superhero. It's like, did you not see Blade? Did you not know that movie existed? So he comes out and says the movie's garbage. He says, let me get that quote and pull it up. He says, I still hunt on the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow. It does look like garbage to me. It looks like a bad movie. I'm embarrassed for those people. I'm embarrassed for Scarlett. I'm sure she got paid $5-7 million, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't want to be in those movies. I really don't. Now, he could be making that up, but I don't really blame anybody for not wanting to be in this shit. And this is supposed to be the woman taking over for Black Widow. I guess in a lot of the reviews, they say that this movie spends most of its time setting up her successor. So this woman, who's her sister, apparently, I don't know if that's by blood or just by bond. We'll see. Apparently, she's going to be the new Black Widow, and this movie promptly sets that up, which is like what most of the Marvel shows do, set up movies. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.